The Council of the Isles of Scilly is working towards being net zero carbon by 2030. We've already switched to renewable energy for the majority of our sites and installed solar panels on our corporate and social housing. And we've supported local businesses to do the same through our Business Energy Efficiency Scheme. We have plans to continue to reduce our carbon emissions by decarbonising our estate and removing our reliance on fossil fuels further. We want to lead by example in protecting the islands for future generations. But we can't do this without the support of our community. The following are examples of the pioneering and innovative work already happening on the islands. Work which we hope will inspire us all to do more.
It's actually really simple. We literally only have one planet. If we don't start sorting things out now, then that is going to be it. Living on a small island as we do, we're going to see more adverse weather, which is going to make everything more difficult for all of us. We have a crisp packet recycling system. We have moved away from using cling film to wrap our cheese when we give cheese out to customers. We've just launched a brand new milk refill system this week. We also have solar panels that provide most of our hot water. We use a green energy supplier, and we often try and stock as much product as we can do in glass, so we're using less plastic, and then we try and use as many local suppliers as we possibly can do. We need the government to put more pressure on big companies like Unilever, Coca-Cola, Mars, Cadbury's, Johnson & Johnson, all of the big household names, to actually start making more changes to how they're packaging.
We've got solar PVs, solar hot water. We try and reduce our chemical input on the farm. We try to not use many pesticides, herbicides or chemical fertilisers. Looking at the minute at increasing our composting capacity by taking green waste from other businesses and households and using that to increase our soil carbon. Water usage is a big issue. So we're trying to increase our rainwater capacity at the minute, and actually all of us are able to do small things, whether it's a move to plastic-free packaging or looking at installing alternative sustainable energy sources. We get a lot of comments from customers appreciating the fact that our packaging is plastic-free, and so it is appreciated and recognised, and that really helps encourage you to do more.
From a business point of view, we're organic growers. We have solar panels, so the amount of energy that we produce is about equivalent to the amount we use per year. Yeah, our groundwater supplies are threatened by the predicted rise in sea level, and we're finding it increasingly difficult to grow food crops. For the farm, we collect rainwater. We have about 100 cubic metres of storage, and even with our rainwater catchment we would be having severe problems if we lost any of our additional groundwater.
We've changed to electric vans for our cottage department. We've changed to electric buses, which you'll see whizzing around everywhere. Every new project that we build has sustainable and renewable energy embedded into the project. We make them super insulated. We make them as green as we possibly can before we even build them. We try and purchase as locally as we can. We are very careful about what we buy and how it's packaged. We have cut our amount of plastic as an island to less than 12 tonnes a year, and we do that by not having plastic bottles in the shop, only having glass. What we need to be is an island which lives by its assertions, which means that everything that we do has to be about sustainability, and it has to be about the long-term future. We can't manage everybody else's impacts, but we can manage ours.
I make jewellery, so I'm always looking on the beach doing beach cleanups and yeah, making sort of sculpture and art out of the bits that I find. There's a lot of plastic that gets washed up from, you know, who knows where. I reuse everything, so things like plastic bags, paper bags, bubble wrap. I'm always using things like cardboard boxes for wrapping up and stuff, so I'm always kind of reusing everything. Because we are destroying the planet with all our rubbish and, you know, throwing things away that, you know, we shouldn't be.
For the last year, I've been commercially fishing for lobster with 100% plastic-free fishing gear. and I've also been rowing and sailing to fish for lobster, so effectively emissions free. This one's made of recycled pallets as well. So bicycle rims here, aluminium, hopefully lower impact. I'm also looking, because I'm committed to either low impact or plastic free fishing, I've got to source natural fibre ropes, non-plastic, down buoys, floats, all the fishing gear plastic free. We just know we've got to reduce our carbon footprint massively. Business wise, this is all about using as local as possible materials and skills. I think it's a case of do what you can yourself and sort of share your information and see where those conversations get to, really.
Here on the farm, we're actually net negative, so we're actually absorbing more carbon than we emit. So we're really paying attention to our soils, sequestering carbon in the soils, carbon in the biomass of the hedges and the woodland. I really encourage everybody to eat less meat and dairy, eat more fruit and veg, care about how it's grown and where it's from, especially locally grown. Switch to 100% renewable electricity supply. That's really easy, makes a big impact. So it's absolutely imperative that everybody takes their responsibility. People, businesses, communities, governments, society, all over the world.
I think it's important for everybody. Obviously it's the future of the planet, and obviously for our children as well. It's a no-brainer for people to do whatever they can with it, really. So we're a postal flower company, so all our packaging is now paper, which can also be recycled. We've also put solar panels on our barns, and that provides the electricity for our cold store. So all our flowers now are chilled obviously through the sun. So the fact that that's now being done by solar panels is a huge improvement.
I personally believe it's important because when I think about it, I think about air pollution, and I also think about our health as humans and children. One of the main things for us was to keep our carbon footprint down. We invested in some solar panels, so we have 9 solar panels on our roof. Our second thing is no single-use plastic. We also have a sticker goes on our window for people to see that we do free water refills. We don't sell any plastic bottles. It's all glass or cans. It only takes a small little bit to start, and then, you know, maybe just, for instance, water bottles or coffee cups, reusable ones, and then see what else you can do after that to help. And yeah, that's what I would say.
Living on the Isles of Scilly, you know, we're really lucky to live somewhere so beautiful, and it's important, you know, that it can stay beautiful for future generations, and you know, we don't want to see our beaches, you know, strewn with plastic in the future, and you know, ensure that sea levels don't rise so much that the place eventually disappears. We do all the basics, all the recycling that you'd expect and stuff, and we use all recyclable packaging, and all our cups and our salad pots and things like that are all biodegradable. And also we incentivise people to reuse coffee cups by offering a reduced price on hot drinks for reusable cups. The main thing that we do, and we're really proud of, is our refill zone, which is behind me, which is the way that we let people shop for your basics like grains and nuts and seeds and dried fruit and herbs and spices and everything in a kind of plastic-free way. So they can either bring a reusable container in and we'll fill it up for them over and over again. It helps reduce waste both in packaging but also food waste, which is important too. I would encourage consumers to try and shop more ethically and in a more sustainable way by coming to places where they can use less plastic and reuse their containers and things like that.
Well, you're seeing all the time with the climate emergency, you're seeing all sorts of things changing. Like we've seen tuna for the first time ever in my lifetime. The whole changes to the atmosphere, and we've had really weird weather all year. We had storms in August, we've had the best ever October on record. So for about 5 years now we've had our boating app, which enables residents of Snagness and other people on the islands to share our boat trips, reducing the cost, therefore reducing their carbon footprint. We've very recently installed solar panels on the boat, which enables us to run all our electrical systems without having to charge the batteries, running the engines to charge the batteries up. And finally, we've very recently joined a scheme where we offset our carbon footprint. So we calculated how much fuel we consume over the year and what the costs of that were, and also the other carbon we produce, and we then contacted a company called Carbon Neutral Britain, and they enabled us to completely carbon offset our business, so we're completely carbon neutral.
It's becoming increasingly clear that We can't afford to wait for government to take the lead on this. This is something that we all have to kind of accept as responsibility.
So we try and keep everything we can on the site, so we don't burn and we don't export anything. So we've got 2 kilometres of hedges, we've got the vine prunings, any sort of arisings we have are all kept composted and put back onto the land to try and sort of sequester carbon. We're also looking at things like tree planting to try and sort of lock more carbon up in biomass. We've switched to kind of an organic approach from energy efficiency and reducing our requirement for fossil fuels. So we have had solar panels installed, and we've got a solar battery which is just being installed today, which is fantastic. So far I think this year it's produced more than we've used, so it's also a sort of a net exporter to the grid locally, so that it kind of increases the renewable energy capacity that we've got here on the islands, I hope.
We're not using any petrol-powered equipment, the lawnmower, the strimmers, the hedge cutters, everything is now fully electric. There's lots of opportunities out there for some funding often, so it's worth having a look like what's out there in your area.